and not to blame yourself and to find the culprit in yourself. Like, I am the one who is not belonging, who is not adjusting, something is wrong. Yeah. Just sometimes
Okay.
it's really hard. It's really hard when you move and when you change everything.
Let's go now to finishing your master's. Were you actually planning from the beginning to stay in Spain, or did that just happen?
No, actually, no. I came to Spain to do my master's, and that's it. I wasn't having a plan, a long-term plan at the time. It was just that I want to do an international master's, and that was it. And then that leads me to something great. If it doesn't, it's okay. But the thing was that at the end of my master's studies, I was proposed by my master thesis supervisor a job in the University of Alcalá. She told me there is a job opening in a similar area to what I've been doing. She knew the people, they're nice. And yeah, I applied. It was also very easy to apply. I didn't need anything so special, just like regular documents. I don't remember, but it was easy. And I applied and I even forgot about it. And then a few months later, I get the acceptance letter, and that was it. I defended my master thesis. And then 7 days after that, I started working as a researcher at the University of Alcalá. I've been there for 2 years as a researcher, more or less. And then I started my PhD also there at the University of Alcalá. So this was my trajectory, but yeah, it was not planned.
Okay, so this happened by accident, like both in the sense of life choice and professional choice. But it was great that you came across this opportunity right away, which is sometimes not so easy in research in Spain.
Yes, at the time I didn't have even a plan B. I just applied for the job, and I was at the time studying so hard and preparing for my master thesis, writing it, preparing for the defense. And I didn't have any time to even search for PhDs or something else. I was, okay, when I finish this, then I will see what I will do next. So this was the only option that I had after the master's. And it turned out to be quite great. Some people have much more struggle to find a job after the master's.
And your area, physics or astrophysics, how much male-dominated research area is it?
In my master's, as I said, I was the only woman, only girl, and I was quite shocked. Also in the other specialty that was in the program of theoretical physics, which is particle physics, there were several girls, but it was still male-dominated field. And in Serbia, actually, you would think it's contrary, but at least in my degree, my generation, it was female dominated. So for me, it was really strange to come to Spain. I was just expecting that it's going to be at least the same or even more female dominated, but no. Then when I moved to the University of Alcalá, my supervisors were 2 female scientists, but I think it's still quite male dominated. Right now, the group I'm in, I'm again not the only woman, but almost the only woman.
Do you feel that you get a different treatment in any way because you are a woman?
I do not. Honestly, I didn't have any problems or any feeling of that sense, that you are like lower or something just because of that. However, there are some studies in my area that show that sending some proposals for telescope time, there is a bias towards the proposals that have a male PI. And then they did this kind of study that these proposals were anonymous, and they have been doing it for some time. And they compared results, and then it turned out that when you have anonymous proposals, there is no difference like between the ones that are actually with the male PRs and females. There is this something that is called an unconscious bias that is always there. I have one friend that is studying biology at the University of Alcalá, and she told me that I think there is 80% of female students. But I asked her about the professors, like are they also female professors? And she said like, no, we only have few. The high positions are reserved for men. So this is weird because okay, if you are looking at physics, which is historically like mainly man-dominated field, but so that you have still the high positions at the faculty and you have more male professors. But what's wrong with biology then? Why do you still have this kind of discrepancy if it's more a female field? Why are there no more female professors? Maybe it's different at different universities, but I'm saying what I know about university where I am in.
Yeah, well, yes, I also don't have official statistics, but my experiences from the places where I worked before, like for example in Austria, it was yes, most of the group leaders and supervisors were actually men. I
Yeah.
think this is slowly changing, but when I was there, which was until a couple of years ago, this was the case. I was once also asked by some students who were doing some research, asking me how many, exactly what you just said. So they were asking me how many colleagues you have who are men and who are women. And then you are like, okay, wait, if you think about how many colleagues I have, the number is almost the same. But how many of men and women are in the leading positions, then you see quite a big difference. I think what I could see from the studies in Belgrade, for me, it was we start with a huge majority of women at the bachelor studies. It's like I don't know, it's at least 2, 3 times more women than men. But then when you look how many are actually going for a PhD or after finishing their PhD, they stay at the faculty and institutes and in research, then you see why this is such a huge difference between male and female professors and group leaders. Because most women, they decide to go out of science because I think still in Serbia, this is not something that is considered good for women to do. It's better that she finds a job that is like 9 to 5 job or to be a teacher, some kind of regular job, because then it's going to be easier for her to have family.
Yes.
Then yes, so I think this is where this kind of shift between male and female representatives is starting actually.
Yeah.
We went a little bit off the Spanish topic, but I think this is also interesting and also happens in Spain, I think, as well.
But I think Spain, in many aspects, is a good country for a woman to live. Yeah.
Okay,
It's
that's a good point. Yes.
yeah,
Would you go a little bit more into details?
just what we talked already. Even though I'm a minority gender wise, I was and I still maybe am in the faculty. I don't feel, my group is the most wonderful group. I never experienced anything, like feeling less worthy, or I must say I have that feeling sometimes, but this is not because of them. This is just something that I carry from my home. Not from my
Sure.
home, but my
I mean,
parents.
I understand. Yes.
This kind of treatment, just you carry it with you. So you can escape your village, but your village does not escape from you. This saying from Serbia. So, but regarding that, but also the safety, like I think that here again, I don't have the statistics as well about like are there incidents or not, but just the general feeling going out at night and everything. I have never felt more safe than I feel in Spain
Mhm.
regarding this.
Yeah.
In Serbia, I wouldn't feel. In Belgrade, in the center of Belgrade, I wouldn't feel that comfortable. And the atmosphere, and not just the atmosphere, but also there have been some incidents happening to my friends or something, so that you hear from here and there, and then
Hmm.
not really relaxed. If you are a girl and you stay all alone,
Hmm.
Belgrade, you're waiting for a night bus or something like that. Here,
I agree with you in that aspect. And I was saying, I think several times when I was recording some videos about Madrid, for example, I really generally feel safe. I mean, I heard that there were some, I don't know, robberies, for example, but I mean, this happens to everybody. I mean,
and of course,
yes.
incidents happen for sure, but we are comparing with Serbia. This is what we have to say, at least. Yeah, to just a disclaimer. Maybe there are safer places in the world, but yeah, I think Spain is a good place. Like,
No, I think compared to, yes, I compare with Serbia, I agree. Even though it has been a while since I was just randomly walking down the streets in Serbia, especially like at night after night out or something. For a city of this size, I think it's really great. I also like I come back from going out at I don't know 2 a.m. and I walk my neighborhood and there is nobody on the street and there is someone sometimes, but they mostly ignore me the same as I ignore them. So it really feels really safe.
nobody's gonna. I mean, not nobody, but it's not really, there's a low probability that someone will attack you on the street or something. And even the robbers, they're not aggressive. In Serbia, sometimes they are. They're gonna like pull out a knife or something and
Yes.
weird things. But here, like they do it like in a stealth mode.
Yes, if they can do it without you noticing it, this is their preferred way to do it.
Yes. And if you catch them, they're gonna run. So, but still, there are a lot of thefts. So I've never lived in a place where I can relax in this sense. I'm always okay, like checking my stuff.
But I mean, I think if you compare with like how big this city is, I think it's still very safe. And it also depends from place to place. If you go to some place very touristic or bus stations or train stations where there are more movements and more crowds, then it's higher chance that they're going to rob you. But here, for example, in my neighborhood where you barely have any tourists or these kind of hectic movements and life is a bit slower, I think this doesn't really happen so much.
Yeah.
But of course, you have to be cautious. How did you decide to continue with a PhD, and how did you find your current position?
Like with the research position that I was doing for 2 years, more or less, the same happened with the PhD. I mean, I was actively searching for a PhD because my contract was a temporary contract. So, and we were extending it like several times. So I was, looking for something more permanent, like a scholarship to do a PhD. But I didn't get it immediately. I applied several times and I applied for different positions in my research area. And not just in Spain, I applied in Netherlands, in Germany, and in several more places. And I did not get it. And that was really unmotivating because, I mean,
it happens a lot.
Applying for a PhD is not just like applying for a job, although I've never applied for a real job, except from the one that I had this research position. Yeah, but this was really easy. And for a PhD, you really need to write a cover letter. And this cover letter needs to show that you know the field. You should do some kind of research about the people who are offering the position, about the institute or the universities. And then you have to tailor this cover letter. Then you need to ask for the recommendation letters. And it's a job for itself. After a few rejections, I even thought of dropping out, like just finding another job or something like that. Maybe I was thinking this academia stuff is not for me. And then all of a sudden I got 2 scholarships that I applied for. So in Spain, there were several, but public ones that are offered by the Ministry of Education. There are 2 scholarships, which are called FPU and FPI. So I applied for both and I got both. I had to decide which one to take. They're quite similar in conditions, more or less. There are some differences, but the thing was that they were not in the same fields. So I had to decide, will I take the one that to continue the research line that I was already in and that I really liked and I was kind of getting a lot of experience in already, or to switch to another one. I was struggling a lot, and it's a nice thing. You got 2 scholarships. But for me, it was really devastating because you have to choose, like, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And at least the next 4 years of your life, not for the rest of your life. And in the end, I chose and I switched a little bit my field. It's still astrophysics, but it's a different topic. This is how I got my PhD scholarship. And yeah, now I entered the 2nd year of the PhD and yeah, everything's going great.
That's good to hear. With this experience that you have now, would you recommend Spain for foreigners hoping to build an academic career here?
Well, it depends. It really depends a lot on what do you expect from research prospects, and also I mean depending on many things. I would recommend, I think. It's not that bad, even though Spaniards, all my colleagues, they try to get away, I think, to get a scholarship in some other country, because Spain has some, comparing to other European countries, at least West Europe and European Union, a bit less funds for pursuing PhD research. And the salaries are lower than in other countries. But again, the cost of living is lower, I think, except from the accommodation, which is really expensive, like everywhere, I guess, right now. Maybe it compensates in a sense. In any case, like from my experience, I think there are a lot of scholarships, because I mentioned 2, but there are some others which are better, which means it's also a bit harder to get to them. But if you have good grades, if you have a good CV, I think it's more than feasible to get them. So also the life gets easier.
This is also my impression that there are less funding, both for research and for the salaries, basically, to employ PhD students or postdocs. And I know that many, PhDs in or PhD students in Spain, they are thinking about leaving for a couple of years. My experience is that most of them comes back sooner or later. Some of them after only a couple of years, some of them after 5-10 years, but most of them are coming back eventually.
Yes, this is what I have to say. I'm speaking as someone who is coming from Serbia, so I thought there is a lot of much more than in Serbia for doing science. But I understand that for someone who's coming from Spain or from some other country, this might not be the case. In my experience, it's great.
You mentioned housing, and I would like to also touch that topic a little bit because it's actually a really big topic right now in Spain.